Good afternoon, NWS Revolution members and viewers. This is your NWS Head of Talent Relations, Michael Cole. And I got a very special guest with me. Ladies and gentlemen, it is me, the NWS Board of Directors Chairman, and still your NWS Hardcore Champion, Mischief Mikey Mueller. And just to let you know, I suffered a cervical fracture at NWS Summer Heat Wave and a dislocated shoulder, courtesy of Scott Kisegale and my little brother Jaden Miller. And yet I suffered another broken arm again last night, but I'll get to that later. Michael Cole, take it away. Thank you, Mischief Mikey Mueller. Okay. Last night's Revolution Impact was hailing from the War Memorial Auditorium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and the commentators for the show were Joe Garley and Dan Lambert. It started with a backstage segment. The camera quickly moves to reveal NWS Board of Directors Chairman Mischief Mikey Mueller standing uncomfortably, sporting a very visible neck brace and a sling supporting his arm. His usual smug expression replaced by a grimace of pain. Across him are Jay Lawson and Noah Higgins, barely containing their glee. Jay Lawson says, "Oh, Mikey, Mikey, look at you. You look like a poorly wrapped Christmas present nobody wanted." Noah Higgins, he says, "I told you that table wasn't going to be good for your health, Mikey. A good friend would have warned you." Oh, wait. Mr. Mikey Mueller, eyes narrowed, voice strained through his necklace. "You two think this is funny? It is hilarious that Scott Kisegale and Jaden Miller put me through a table. This is a serious injury, you dolts. I'm the chairman of the board." Jay Lawson says, "Chairman of the board of broken bones, maybe," which I thought was pretty funny. Noah Higgins, "Seriously though, Mikey, you might want to consider a new career, perhaps something with less impact, like knitting. You'd be safe from falling through furniture there." That was funny, knitting. Mikey attempts to lunge at Noah, but the neck brace restricts his movement, and the sling throws him off balance, causing him to stumble slightly. Jay and Noah take a step back, still grinning, but a glint of genuine annoyance flashes in Mikey's eyes. Mr. Mikey says, "You two are going to regret this. You both betrayed me just like they did. When healed, and that will happen, you're going to pay. You'll all pay." Jay and Noah share a look, then simultaneously shrug. Their laughter now more subdued, but now mocking. Jay Lawson, "Sure thing, Mikey. We'll be there waiting, probably still laughing." Noah Higgins, "Yeah, maybe we'll even bring a picnic basket for the occasion." Mikey glares, breathing heavily but unable to respond further as Jay and Noah walk off. Their chuckles trailing behind them. The camera lenses on Mikey, still wincing in pain, a solitary figure suffering the aftermath of humiliation. Mischief Mikey Mueller heads to the wing. That was funny. That was not funny, Michael Cole. Jay and Noah made fun of me. They disrespected me. They approved what Scott Kisegale and my brother Jaden Miller did to me. How can you find that funny, Michael Cole? How dare you find that funny? How dare you? Because it is funny. Because it is funny, Mikey. It is funny. Then the show opens with its NWS Board of Directors Chairman and NWS Hardcore Champion, Mischief Mikey Mueller, clad in a sharp suit, but with a venomous glint in his eyes, stood with Paul Heyman beside him, and the crowd buzzed with boos and jeers. Mikey grabbed the microphone, his voice dripping with controlled fury. The lights in the arena gym, and a graphic flashes on the big screen reading. A message from the board. The sound of squeaking office chair is heard, followed by a condescending cough. The camera cuts to Mischief Mikey Miller wearing a neck brace and with a large bandage of bandage on his arm, which is technically a sling, sitting in plush leather chair in a lavish wood paneled office. He gestures dismissively to an off-screen assistant, turning on the microphone and glares directly to him. And then Mr. Mikey says, "Joe Gowley, Dan Lambert, it appears that you've been enjoying yourselves lately while calling the action. You're cheering on the victories of the so-called owner, Scott Casey and my brother, Jaden Miller, who unfortunately shares my last name. Let's discuss the biased and pathetic commentary. First, there was the table incident. Jaden, my own brother, the director of operations, the moral compass of this federation, worked with Scott Kisageo to physically assault me, a corporate official. But you treated it like a highlight reel, a moment of triumph for the good guys. The crowd loved it and you encouraged them. You supported this idea that the board of directors, a beacon of stability and order in the enemy, all because the man with a fragile ego was having a bad day, and my brother apparently is more loyal to Scott Kisagale than his own blood. Also, let's not forget Scott Kisagale's world title defense against John Moxley. You two spent the entire match talking about his heart, his guts, his passion. But then the one thing you didn't mention, the deal you overlooked, was the steel chair that appeared in the ring like magic, courtesy of my dear brother Jaden. The chair that conventionally slipped from Jaden's hand into Scott Casey Gale's, allowing him to retain his title. Though for blatant cheating, and you two were silent. So here's the message to Joe Garner and Dan Lambert. You think you can control the narrative. You think you can pick winners and losers and mislead the audience. But I am the chairman of the board. I know the rules and the shadow rules. And there will be consequences next time you disregard the truth. You will regret the day you ever cheered against Mischief Mikey Miller. Yeah. As he waves his hand dismissing it, Mikey and Paul Heyman turn their attention to Scott Casey Gale and Jaden Miller as they now head to the ring. Scott Casey Gale, Mikey says, "Scott Casey Gale, you call yourself an owner? You call yourself a man of, or are you just Jaden Miller's lapdog, barking his command?" His gaze intensified, sweeping over the ramp. This past Sunday at NWS Summer Heatwave, your little puppet Jaden attacked my special counsel, Paul Heyman, claiming Heyman cost him his match with me. You know what, Scott? Heyman did his job. He did what any good special counsel would do. He found a weakness, he exploited it, and he helped me out. And I am still the NWS Hardcore Champion. That's scout strategy, not a cheap shot, you simpleton. Suddenly, Scott Casey emerged onto the stage. Jaden Miller flanking him with a smug look plastered across both their faces. You too, Mikey, continued, his voice rising. The NWS owner and his manager, you thought you were clever, didn't you? RKOing me through that table after your match with John Moxley. A cowardly ambush when my back was turned. You think that proves something? Scott stepped forward. Jaden subtly nodding his head in agreement behind him. Mikey, Scott said. You talk a big game, but when it came down to you were vulnerable. Heyman is a liability, and you're just a has-been with delusions of grandeur. Jaden Champion, Heyman deserved every bit of what he got, and you, Mikey, You got what was coming to you for letting the weasel interfere in my matches. Mikey's jaw tightened. Oh, it appears that attacking an unarmed man and ambushing me from behind is getting what's coming to me. This behavior reflects directly on Scott as the owner of NWS Revolution. This isn't just about a match anymore. It's about respect. It's about showing everyone that intimidation and cheap shots will not be tolerated. Heyman stepped forward when adjusting his tie. Gentlemen, a grave error in judgment has been made. A sleeping giant has been awakened, and the beast has been poked. Mischief Mikey Miller is not someone to be trifled with. His retaliation will be swift and extreme. Yeah, whatever. Paul Heyman. Mikey pointed directly at Scott and Jaden. You two have painted a target on your backs. Do you want to fight? You're going to get one. And when the fight is over, regret will follow. Mikey says General Manager Don Callis is going to expose you, Jaden, tonight. He has a lot to say to you, and he will mention you, Scott Casey Gill, will mention you, Scott Casey Gill, Jay Lawson, Goody Two Shoes, Noah Higgins, and Vinny Joe, who held and how they had him held hostage in this trauma Callis went through. To expect a burial. So he says, expect a burial. Then Paul Heyman got on the mic again and said he demands a one-on-one apology from Jaden Miller later tonight, and he will get one or else. The confrontation ended with a tense stare down between the two factions as he threw the microphone down, the sound echoing through the arena with Mikey saying, Scott Casey Gale, you're my shadow, you're my lap servant, and you know what happens when my shadow and lap servant breaks the shadow rules. Scott says, yes, I know, but hell no, I will not come with you. Mikey replies, yes, you will. Remember, Scott, you will follow my orders. Now you're going to follow them very closely. Come on, Scott, it's lap sitting time for you. And you are now officially glued to me. Mikey grabbed Scott by the arm, dragging him out from the ring and down the rampway and down the rampway and then down the hallway towards the office. Once inside, Mikey forcibly deposited Scott onto his lap into the office chair. Mikey purred, wrapping his arm around Scott, saying, "There we go, nice and close. Now let's enjoy the rest of the show together." He embraced Scott, a dark, unsettling smile spreading across his face as the camera faded out. Mikey, you are such a whiner, really? You really, Mikey? Making Scott Kissigale sit in her lap again? Seriously, Mikey? Seriously? I mean, you have one injured arm, but the other arm isn't injured. Many fans are starting to think you're faking your injury just to get people to feel sorry for you. Because, Mikey, you have done that before. Oh, Michael Cole, there you go, stirring the spot. I spoke from my heart, Michael Cole. I said what needed to be said. Scott Kissigale and Jaden Miller are abusing their power by attacking me. It is not right what they're doing, and the two of them will be when I fully heal. The two of them will be punished, and so will those two biased commentators, Joe Gowdy and Dan Abbott. I wrestled them before, and I was victorious over Joe Gowdy and Dan Abbott. Just to let you know, and the idiot somehow says Joe Gowdy, Dan Abbott, Mischief Mikey Miller. For God's sakes! First of all, it's Michael Cohen, Mischief Mikey Miller, not Joe Gowdy and Dan Abbott doing this with you. So I'm going to fix that. Oh my God, these idiots. I bet Scott Kissigale did this. I bet he's behind this. I mean, what my little, I think my little brother, Jaden Milder, the goody two shoes, is brainwashing Scott Gale, my adopted father, and I'm his adopted son. Well, it's time the adopted son punish the adopted father. And I'm going to read the first match. NWS Tag Team Champions Michael Scott's Mind and Rob McGovern with gentleman Don Callis defeated the Broken Hardys. Opening match. Michael Scott's Mind and Rob McGovern, adorning grim tactical gear, makes their entrance. Minus face a map of old batteries is a stark contrast to McGovern's stony indifference. They embody professional wrestling as a brutal combat sport. Next come the Broken Hardys, Matt and Jeff, to the bizarre chants of 7 with deletes. They are a surreal force of nature, their movements erratic and their expressions otherworldly. Early match, the match begins with a clash of styles. The Hardys use their speed and unpredictable offense, with Matt delivering a twist of fate and Jeff hitting a dazzling poetry in motion. But the my neck is so sore. But the methodical champions weather the storm. McGovern catches Jeff Hardy mid-ear and slams him into to the steel cage. Wow! While Minor methodically targets Matt's surgically repaired neck. The champions focus on dissecting the Hardys limb by limb, ignoring the crowd's frantic energy. Turning point. Matt Hardy, in a moment of broken violence, climbs to the top of the turnbuckle and attempts a terrifying senton bomb. But Minor intercepts him on the top rope, and Rob McGovern from below shoves the ladder away. Minor then executes a devastating suplex from the top of the rope, from the top of the turnbuckle, driving Matt through a table inside the ring. Climax. With Matt incapacitated, Jeff Hardy enters a trance of torment. He unleashes a flurry of chaotic offense, but it's not enough to deter the champions. Minor grabs Jeff from behind, locking him in a punishing chokehold. Rob McGovern delivers a monstrous McGovern driver and F5, a powerbomb variation, and as Jeff crashes to the mat, Minor releases the hold, leaving Jeff unconscious. The champions make a cold silent pinfall to retain their titles. Aftermath, as the referee counts to 3, the bell rings with a holiday echo. Minor and Rob McGovern hoist their belts high, their faces showing no emotion. Father, the eldest enters the cage. Then Don Carlos enters the ring, holding Minor's arm in a dark victory celebration. The Hardys still motionless, their broken dreams scattered across the ring. The message is clear. NWS represents brute force, not fantasy, prevails. Their champion's weight of terror continues leaving the broken world in a state of despair. That was a great match. I've said many times before, Michael Scarsmine and Rob McGovern are the greatest NWS Tag Team Champions of all time. Then backstage, the office of NWS Revolution owner, chairman, and CEO Scott Gale. He is talking while sitting on my lap. He is talking about what a great match it was. I ruffle his hair and say, I agree with him. Finally, Scott Gale said something smart. And then Michael, then this is when you come in, Michael Cole. Yeah, you, Michael Cole. So I'm backstage adjusting my neck brace and holding Scott Gale on my lap. And then Michael Cole comes in. Let's see. So, Michael, are you even listening? These barbaric. And then Michael Cole says, how does how how does it feel to be injured, Mikey? Yeah, you said that to me, Michael. And I said, Michael, are you even listening? These barbaric acts by Scott Kissingale and Jaden. An RKO through a table, a dislocated shoulder, a broken arm. Jaden aided Scott in retaining the title against John Moxley for steel chair. The speaker is the chairman of the NWS board of directors. This is an outrage. Then Michael Cole says, Mr. Miller, you are just go. This is pure entertainment. Yeah, you said that, Michael. And I said, this isn't funny. Serious injury could have occurred. My health is at risk. Michael, Michael, say, yeah, oh, I'm sure it is. But let's be honest, sir. How many times have we seen you bending the rules? How many times have we seen you pull strings behind the scenes to get what you want? Karma, as they say. It's a funny thing. And I say, are you suggesting I deserve this? And then you, Michael Cole, say, let's just say the NWS universe isn't exactly shedding tears for the chairman tonight. Perhaps stronger tables should be invested in, sir. I can't believe they said. I can't believe, Michael Cole, you would make fun of me like that. I am an injured teenage boy. I'm an injured young man. You cannot let me be disrespected like this. This is against the law. This is a crime. And Scott Kissingale, even though I'm injured, Scott Kissingale still has to sit on my lap while I hold him, while I risk my arms to hold him in a very tight grip so he doesn't escape from me. I don't deserve this. Oh, wow. Boo-hoo, Mr. Mikey, boo-hoo. Okay, that was a great tag team match between Michael Scott, Mina, and Rob McGovern and the Broken Hearties. I really enjoyed that, counting it. And then another great match is NWS United States Champion, Jay Lawson versus Kenny Omega. The crowd at the NWS Arena was electric for this match. A true clash of styles and generations between the champion, the All-American Jay Lawson and the international superstar Kenny Omega. The match opened with a handshake, a sign of respect, set for the tone of the entire contest. Both competitors showcased their signature moves and a masterful technique, with Omega V-trigger and Lawson's devastating spinebuster being exchanged to the awe of the audience. After a grueling 25 minutes of back-and-forth action, Lawson caught Omega attempting a high-risk maneuver and planted him with a thunderous blackout. Lawson went for a pin, but Omega kicked out at the last possible second to the shock of everyone in the arena. The challenger fought on, but the champion proved too resilient. After a second, even more intense exchange, Jay Lawson hit his finisher, the American Dream, for the conclusive victory. The bell rang, signaling a hard-earned victory for the champion. Instead of celebrating alone, Lawson helped Omega to his feet. The two men shared a moment of mutual respect, with Jay Lawson raising Omega's arm in a gesture of sportsmanship. The crowd responded with a standing ovation, acknowledging the incredible effort put forth by both athletes. Winner Jay Lawson pinfalled the American Dream. This match lasted 27 minutes and 32 seconds. Outcome: Jay Lawson retains the NWS United States Championship. And what a match this was, and what respect. Jay Lawson has really learned from his mistakes, and he has really owned up to them. And Jay Lawson has impressive wrestling skills in the ring. Very impressive wrestling skills. What do you say, Mr. Mikey Miller? I hate to agree, but yes, he does. Yes, he does. He does. He wants to be a goody two-shoes, just like Noah Higgins and my little brother. He wants to be a sucker. But yeah, it was a great match between the two, Michael. Now speaking of goody two-shoes, Noah, it's NWS Intercontinental Championship match. Noah Higgins versus Joe Henry. The anticipation for this contest was palpable. A respectful match built on shared mutual understanding rather than animosity. But as the bell rang, it was clear that respect wouldn't diminish the intense desire to win. Both competitors began the fitting out process, grappling for position with textbook precision. Henry's mat wrestling and brute strength gave him an early advantage. He wore Higgins down for a series of headlocks and shoulder blocks, forcing the champion to rethink his strategy. Higgins, however, is a resilient fighter known for his speed and high-flying offense. He expertly created separation, using the ropes to springboard himself back to a vertical base before connecting with a series of quick strikes that put Henry on the defensive. The match flowed with a back and forth rhythm, each wrestler showcasing their strength. Henry's power moves, including thunderous spinebuster, routed the champion, but Higgins always had an answer. He countered Henry's devastating standing ovation with a brilliant roll-up that earned him the pin. The crowd was on competition. The climax that saw both men exhausted but refusing to give in. Henry hoisted Higgins for a final decisive maneuver, but the champion escaped, twisting in midair, landed perfectly on his feet behind the challenger. In a moment of pure and Higgins delivered a crushing super kick, followed by a signature double diving knee strike from the top rope. He hooked Henry's leg for the free count, retaining the title. After the bout, visibly disappointed but still composed, Joe Henry was offered a handshake by the champion Noah Higgins. Henry accepted, acknowledging Higgins' victory with a nod of approval. The two men stood in the ring, a show of true sportsmanship, and proving that even a high-stakes match, respect will prevail. When it's still NWS Intercontinental Champion Noah Higgins. This was a good match. I gotta say that Noah Higgins has been very impressive in the ring, Michael Cole. Oh, without a doubt, Mikey, without a doubt. Noah Higgins has been doing wonders for the NWS Intercontinental title. And then Psycho Mercer with Assistant General Paul Heyman defeated Adam Cole, baby. And nope, I am not related to Adam Cole. And there goes. The bell rings, and the crowd is immediately split between the competent. Calculated. Adam Cole and the unnerving intense Psycho Mercer. Cole uses his speed and agility to land quick strikes and avoid Psycho Mercer's devastating power moves, often ducking under a lariat or rolling away from a German suplex attempt. He focuses on his assault on Psycho Mercer's leg, looking to chop down the larger opponent with a series of kicks and dragon screws. However, Psycho Mercer, withstands the punishment. His grimacing facial expressions become more focused as Cole's shot lands. He finally catches Adam Cole for a brutal single-arm spinebuster that leaves both men reeling. From there, Mercer's offense is a relentless, punishing barrage of stiff clotheslines and power slams. He lifts Cole for a stalling vertical suplex, holding him in the air for a full 10 seconds before finally dropping him with a show of pure various strength. This match leads to a desperate sequence for Adam Cole. He hits a super kick followed by a Panama Sunrise, but Psycho Mercer's barely twitches as he falls. When Cole goes for a signature boom knee strike, Mercer catches him with a mid-air. He drives Cole's skull into the canvas. A 16 modified black hole slam, but Cole essentially kicks out at the last possible. In the final moments, Cole's Undisputed Kingdom statements attempt to distract the referee as the referee is occupied by Kyle O'Reilly, who actually did accompany at Adam Cole. Tries to slide a steel chair into the ring, but Psycho Mercer intercepts it for the last minute. Mercer turns to confront Cole, who charges him, but Psycho Mercer uses Cole's own momentum against him. He powers Adam Cole onto his shoulders with a terrifying look. He delivers his finishing move, the Psycho Bomb, the Psycho Effect and the Psycho Bomb, a twisting spinning power bomb. Psycho Mercer makes the pin and gets the free count. The referee immediately calls for the bell, but Mercer refuses to release his grip on Adam Cole. He maintains the hold, staring blankly at the motionless Adam Cole, and as officials, so the NWS Revolution personnel flood to the ring to separate the victor from his vanquished opponent. And then Psycho Mercer just stands there and laughs over the carnage, sending a clear message to the rest of the locker room. Wow, Psycho Mercer has definitely showed a vicious side of him, hitting him the Psycho Bomb and the Psycho Effect. I mean, that is just, I mean, he used dirty antics. That's the thing, because Psycho Mercer, ever since he joined the Elite Blood Warriors and Don Callis family, has definitely been shown a mean streak and a ruthless side of him. How much more farther will Psycho Mercer go? And then it's the next match. Take it away, Mr. Mikey Miller. I think Psycho Mercer wrestled fair and square, Michael Cole. He was just showing that he is not to be disrespected and he's not to be messed with. And then it's next match. Vinny Joe with my brother Jaden Miller in his corner versus Eddie Edwards. This match was a hard-fought contest between the seasoned veteran Eddie Edwards and the theory fan favorite Vinny Joe. Edwards dominated the early goings, using his signature mix of technical powers and hard-hitting strikes to ground Joe. Just as Edwards seemed to be in full control, my brother Jaden Miller, standing at ringside, wailed the crowd behind his client. With the fans now firmly behind him, Vinny Joe mounted a comeback. He waited Edwards' best shots and responded with a flurry of high-flying moves that sent the crowd into a frenzy. As the match approached its climax, Edwards grew frustrated with Joe's resilience and turned his attention to Jaden Miller, arguing with him through the ropes. This proved as a fatal mistake as Edwards was distracted. Jaden Miller slid the bottom rope open enough for Joe to catch Edwards in a perfectly timed Vinny bomb. The referee counted the pinfall, and Vinny Joe snatched the victory, winning via pin for Vinny Joe. And as Jaden Miller raised Vinny Joe's arm. Eddie match highlights. Eddie Edwards' early control and technical dominance. Jaden Miller's key distraction at ringside. Vinny Joe's high-impact comeback. The surprise finish highlighted with the babyface team's cleverness. Yeah, of course, Jaden Miller. Jaden Miller being the goody two-shoes. There was a lot of Jaden Miller on last night's show. He definitely made a name for himself last night, and he definitely made an impact on Revolution Impact. Pardon the pun. But it was a great match. Even though that I don't like Vinny Joe, it was a great match. What do you think, Michael Cole? Oh, it was definitely a great match, Mr. Mikey Miller. Vinny Joe has definitely made a name for himself. And then the setup. The ring is empty except for NWS Revolution General Manager Don Callis holding a microphone. He is standing over a large framed portrait of a smiling Jaden Miller. Callis gestures for his mirrors to cut off, and the crowd boos loudly. Don Callis says, Before you get your wallets out for the next Starman video, here's a lesson. It's a story called The Incorporatable Brad Who Fought. And of course, Don Callis makes fun of a Starman video. He calls it the Incorporatable Brad Who Thought he could school the wrestling genius. That's a better moral, isn't it? Don Callis pulls out a red plastic toy lightsaber and taps Jaden's picture with it. Don Callis, this little choir boy, this paragon of virtue, thinks a perfect score on a math test qualifies him to judge a wrestling revolutionary. The speaker wants $1 billion enterprise on this kid. Wants a Minecraft Twitch stream. See, that's the real moral of the story. The smartest kid in class is just a kid. He drops the lightsaber, pulls a wrench from his pocket. Don Callis. But the real issue is, isn't this kid's wholesome family or his precious morals? Is that what he's in business with? Me now? The speaker's taking the profits, molding his image, and if he has a problem with it, he'd be dealt with the same way any entitled overachieving brat, by being put on a milk carton. The last thing we'll see is the speaker's face before he sees stars. He can cry to his mom about that. He raises the wrench over his head to smash the portrait of Jaden. The arena goes dark, and a familiar snip pop tune echoes throughout the arena. The surprise response. The light flickers, goes back to the reveal. Jaden Miller is standing on the top of the ramp. He is no longer wearing his usual hoodie. He is dressed in an old-fashioned school varsity jacket, jeans, and sneakers. He stares down the invisible hand of wrestling, calm and collected. Jaden Miller says, Mr. Callis, the moral of your story is that you're a bully who's run out of new tricks, but you're in the wrestling business now, and that's not just your story. It's everybody's. It's the fans' story. And the story is they're sick and tired of old men like you preying on the weak. Callis laughs dismissively and raises the wrench again. Don goes, what are you going to do, Jaden? Beat me with a lightsaber? What, you going to send me to detention? You're out of your depth, kid. Jaden begins a slow, deliberate walk to the ring. Jaden goes, no, Mr. Callis. The only thing coming is a new moral, a lesson for you, one that proves you should never judge a book by its cover. The speaker's been watching you his whole life. He knows every single one of your moves, and you don't even know about him. He slides into the ring, and Callis raises the wrench. Jaden catches Callis' arm mid-swing, twists it, and delivers a quick, vicious kick to the knee, sending him stumbling. As Callis is on one knee, Jaden pulls him up by his collar and spins him around. He locks in a full Nelson. Callis struggles and flails, but Jaden holds him firm. The crowd buzzes with anticipation. Jaden Miller says, This is a new lesson, Mr. Callis, not for the camera, for you. With a sudden burst of power, Jaden lifts Callis off the ground, turning the full Nelson into a slam. He drives Callis headfirst into the mat with a vicious Minecraft slam. The crowd erupts as Callis lays motionless. Jaden stands over the downed general manager, takes the wrench from the mat, and places it on Callis' chest. He picks the microphone, looks directly into the camera. The moral of the story is, if you cheat, lie, and steal, you'll pay the price. He drops the mic like his message delivered, leaving Callis out cold in the ring. Don Callis deserved every single bit of that. I'm glad that Jaden Miller finally stood up to Don Callis and dropped him the Minecraft slap. That was brutal. What do you think, Mikey? That was another cowardly attack. First at the pay-per-view, my brother Jaden brutally attacks Paul Heyman. Now Don Callis, Jaden Miller is out of control. When is he going to stop? We can't have this. We cannot have Jaden Miller attacking officials. It goes against the rule book. Oh, Michael Cole, the rule book. Oh, what happened after? Oh, go ahead and read it, Michael Cole, because I know you just love what happened. Well, Don Callis got, as I said, Don Callis got exactly what he deserved. And then after the commercial break, Assistant General Manager Paul Heyman comes out and calls out Jaden Miller back to the ring. Assistant General Manager Paul Heyman's apology demand. The lights dim as Paul Heyman smears a kid. He walks out onto the stage. A smug look plastered on his face. He is wearing a designer suit and carrying a microphone. He stares into the audience with disdain. Paul Heyman, ladies and gentlemen, the name is Paul Heyman, the Assistant General Manager of the NWS Revolution. Part of the job involves upholding a certain level of decorum. This brings the discussion to the travesty of Summer Heatwave. It has left a stain on Heyman's legacy. At Summer Heatwave, Jaden Miller, a young man from Dominant Studios, saw his dreams and aspirations shattered, all because of me, Paul Heyman. Mischief Mikey Miller was instructed to cheat, which cost Jaden the match. Heyman does not apologize because his job is to create controversy and stir the pot to evoke a reaction. But Heyman's job is not to be attacked and disrespected by a boy who grew up on the internet. A boy who thinks that just because he's the star of a web series, he can lay his hands on me, Mr. Heyman says. So Heyman is calling out Jaden Miller. An apology is demanded. A sincere, heartfelt, and public apology for attacking Heyman at Summer Heatwave. Heyman smirks as the crowd boos. He holds his hands up. Oh, Paul Heyman says, oh, they don't like it. They want Heyman to stop. Heyman doesn't care about the boos. Heyman cares about an apology from a boy who has no respect for the legends of this business. So, Jaden, where are you? Where's the goody two-shoes from Dominant Studios now? Heyman is waiting for his apology. Jaden Miller's response. As the lights go, a spotlight shines on the entrance ramp, and Jaden Miller's music hits. He walks down the ramp looking serious and determined. Jaden Miller, Paul Heyman doesn't get it, does he? Heyman thinks that that is all about an apology. Heyman thinks that a simple "I'm sorry" is gonna fix this. Heyman is a manipulator and a snake. Heyman uses people for personal gain, and he doesn't care who gets hurt. Jaden came to the NWS Revolution to be a wrestler, to be a champion, but Heyman and Mischief Mikey decided Jaden's dreams weren't important. They decided to play games, while Jaden is not playing anymore. Jaden isn't asking for an apology from Heyman and is certainly not giving one. Jaden tosses the microphone down and rushes to the ring. Heyman, caught off guard, tries to retreat, but Jaden cuts him off. Jaden grabs Heyman and throws him in the turnbuckle. Heyman tries to fight back, but Jaden is too fast. Jaden lands punches and kicks before sending Heyman wheeling with a clothesline. Jaden then waits for Heyman to get up. When Heyman gets to his feet, Jaden delivers his finisher, the Minecraft Slam, laying Paul Heyman out cold in the middle of the ring. Jaden stands over Heyman's fallen body, looking triumphant. He poses for the crowd as he poses to the crowd. Jaden Miller standing tall and Paul Heyman unconscious in the ring. Jaden Miller then drags an unconscious Paul Heyman backstage to the locker room of the Destructive Patriots, which means he kidnapped Paul Heyman. And then Mr. Mikey Miller, while still holding Scott Kissinger on his lap, you see that scooter? That is another cowardly attack. First my brother Jaden attacks Don Callis. Now he attacks and kidnaps Paul Heyman. That is a crime, Scotty boy, and there will be consequences. Scott tries to get up as Mikey tightens his grip. Says, "Where do you think you're going, my shadow? It's not time for your mad shed. You go when I say you can go. Go, got that, boy?" As Mikey strokes Scott's hair, flicks his ears. Oh God! But anyway, both Don Callis and Paul Heyman got exactly what they deserved. And what's that, Michael Cole? Jaden Miller attacked both Don Callis and Paul Heyman for speaking the truth. Don Callis and Paul Heyman was spot on when they referred to Jaden Miller as a goody two-shoes, because that's what he is. He's a goody two-shoes, and he goes ahead and attacks Don Callis and Paul Heyman for what? Oh, my brother. Speaking of my brother, the NWS Board of Directors, Jaden Miller, with Scott Kisigeo in this corner, defeats Kazuchika Okada. This is an example of a match result. Because when Jaden Miller versus Kazuchika Okada, without Jaden Miller wins by pinfall. Match summary. This high-stakes bout began as Okada, showcasing his superior technical skills, controlling the pace of a signature mix of leveraging his power advantage, tried to counter Okada's offense. But the Rainmaker constantly stayed one step ahead. The momentum shifted when Scott Kisegeo, NWS Revolution owner, chairman, and CEO, created a diversion at ringside. Oh, Scott Kisegeo created a diversion. As Okada focused on Gale, Jaden Miller seized the opportunity to blindside Okada with a low blow. While the referee was momentarily distracted, part of the cheap shot, Jaden Miller drove Okada headfirst into an exposed turnbuckle. That's Scott Kisegeo, my shadow, lap servant and lap woman, and adopted father had tampered with early in the match. With Okada days, Jaden Miller executed a modified pile driver, but Okada still kicked it at two. Frustrated, Jaden Miller grabbed a steel chair from under the ring, but the referee wrestled away from them. A steel chair. Yeah, steel chair, Mr. Steel Chair Jaden Miller. Now, in the commotion, Scott Casey Gale slid a set of brass knuckles into Jaden Miller's hand. Oh, yeah. And get this. This is fun. Jaden Miller knocked up the referee. And Scott Casey KO entered the ring to hit Okada with a Rainmaker posed mockingly. As Okada recovered, Jaden Miller struck him with the brass knuckles. A replacement referee rushed to the ring to count the pinfall, declaring Jaden Miller the victor. After the match, Scott Kisegeo and Jaden Miller celebrated to take the victory, leaving Okada incapacitated in the ring. How about that, Michael Cole? How about that? Scott Kisegeo interfering to help my little brother, Jaden Miller, get his victory. What do you call that, Michael Cole? Why don't Joe Gowdy and Dan Abbott did mention that, but they act like that was okay. Joe Gowdy said Scott Kisegeo taking a page. Jaden, this is what he said. Joe Gowdy said Jaden Miller taking a page out of his brother Mischief Mikey Miller's book. And now and the stupid fans are okay with that. How is that fair? Why does my brother Jaden Miller is mocking me? That's what he's doing. He's making a mockery out of my wrestling skills. That will not be tolerated. When I heal, and I will heal Michael Cole, I will definitely heal. I will get my revenge on Scott Kisegeo and on Jaden Miller. Because I will not be treated like a punching bag. I will not be disrespected in the NWS revolution. I will not be ambushed this. I will not be disrespected like that. And I sure as hell will not be mocked. Nobody makes fun of my in-ring wrestling skills. Nobody makes fun of my cheating skills. Oh my gosh. What do you think, Michael Cole? Well, Jaden Miller did indeed take a page out of your book, Mr. Mikey Miller. And you know what? That is smart. That is very smart. Jaden Miller definitely proves that he can wrestle. Sometimes he's got to go to dirty antics just like you, just to prove he'll do anything. And I mean anything to score a victory. And in my opinion, he was sending a message to you, Mr. Mikey Mueller. Like I said, take like I said, he was sending a message to you, taking the name out of your playbook. What Jaden Miller used was strategy. Strategy. He was getting inside your head, Mr. Mikey Mueller. He's playing mind games with you because Jaden Miller was pissed off, and he showed he will do anything or do whatever it takes to just show how pissed off he is, Mikey. And now it's the co-main event. Co-main event. Undisputed heavyweight championship. Cody Mercer versus Dustin Rhodes. As the co-main event brutal match of the night. The exhausted crowd is on its feet as the lights dim. For the co-main event, Dustin the Natural Rhodes makes his entrance first. His face a grim mask of determination, carrying the hopes of old God. NWS CEO Cody Mercer with Mischief Mikey Miller in his corner follows, striding to the ring with a smug and confident smirk. The prestigious NWS Undisputed title shining on his shoulder. The bell rings and the two immediately lock it up. A test of strength. Mercer, a technician in the ring, gains the early advantage with a swift takedown. Dustin, then relying on his veteran instincts, quickly counters, forcing Mercer to scramble back to his feet. The crowd is electric, split between the cheers, and the resilient veteran cheers for the arrogant champion. The match devolves into a vicious bar. Mercer uses his intellect knowledge of the rules to bend them without breaking, exploiting every opportunity to weaken Dustin. He drives Dustin's shoulder into the ring post and works over the injury, grounding its powerful run. Dustin fights back with his trademark offense, hitting a series of clotheslines and an atomic drop, sending Mercer reeling. Just as Dustin gains momentum, Mercer takes advantage. A momentary distraction. The official is inadvertently knocked down as Mercer shoves Dustin headfirst into an exposed turnbuckle, courtesy of what you, Mr. Mikey Mueller, unloosened. Dustin won't be kicking out for the next move. Seizing his chance, Cody Mercer hits Dustin Rhodes with a Mercer stunner, a Mercer bomb, an attitude adjustment, a Superman punch, and a spear. And then uses a modified crossroads, a triple to his lineage, but executed for another spear and with another Superman punch and spear. That executed for malicious corporate infantry that mocks everything Dustin Rhodes stands for. They were free recovering just in time for the free kill. Win and still NW's undisputed heavyweight champion Cody Mercer via pinfall with Mercer stunner, Mercer bomb, attitude adjustment, Superman punch, and spear. Then after the match, the victory is tainted. Cody Mercer grabs the microphone, ordering the ring announcers to declare his victory, a corporate triumph. As the boos rain down, Mercer places his foot on Dustin's chest, raising his title high as the NWS camera flashes to capture his victory. His message is clear. The new era under his corporate rule has officially silenced the voice of the past. Could we possibly see another match between Cody Mercer and Dustin Rhodes? Cody Mercer's rivalry with Cody Rhodes is over. Is this a sign that Cody Mercer is now starting a rivalry with Cody Rhodes' brother, Dustin Rhodes? Where is this going to lead to? But anyway, it was a good co-main event. What do you say, Mikey? Oh, it was indeed a good co-main event. Like it says that Cody Mercer will stoop to any low to win, just to get that message, to get his message out. Cody Mercer is tired of being disrespected, just like I'm tired of being disrespected. And Dustin Rhodes should be retired already. The guy's like in his 50s. He's getting close to his 60s. Why is, the artist formerly known as Goldust in the WWE? Why is Dustin Rhodes still wrestling? And why is he go? Why was he? And why? Oh yeah, he was taking a page out of his brother Cody Rhodes' playbook, just like you claimed that Jaden Miller was taking a page out of my book. Well, I still found it disrespectful. What Cody Rhodes did, he did what he could to attain. He was sending a message to Dustin Rhodes, the entire NWS roster. Cody Mercer is not to be mocked. Cody Mercer is not to be disrespected. You get that, Michael Cole? Cody Mercer will do whatever takes to to win. He is the undisputed heavyweight champion for a reason. Because these fans have disrespected him long enough, and Cody Mercer has had enough. Now it's time for the main event, and I'm going to read it. Michael Cole, NWS World Heavyweight Champion Scott Kisageo, also known as Scooter St. William, with NWS Board Directors Jaden Miller in his corner, versus Lance Archer with NWS Board of Directors Chairman me, Mischief Mikey Milner in his corner, just so I could keep an eye on my shadow and lap, lap woman Scott Kisageo and my little brother Jaden Miller. The main event, let's go. The main event exploded with the animosity as the challenger Lance Archer, flanked by the neck-based and sling ring Mischief Mikey Miller, charging the champion Scooter St. William, entered the ring with the ever-calculating director of operations Jaden Miller by his side. Let's just see. I'm going to reveal to these stupid professionals how the match was. The match began with Archer's power overpowering Scooter St. William's offense. Archer dominated for a series of hard-hitting blows and slams, weighing down the champion. The crowd cheered at me, Mikey Miller's ringside taunting, and praised Archer's relentless assault, creating a volatile atmosphere. At one point, Archer had Scooter St. William on the top ropes, leading to a scuffle at ringside. Me, Mr. Mikey Miller, seizing the opportunity, attempt to interfere, but Jaden, and this is where it gets good. I'm going to read it again. Me, Mr. Mikey Miller, seizing the opportunity, attempt to interfere, but Jaden Miller blocked it. Now, Jaden Miller blocked him. He blocked me. The match turning point came when Archer went for his signature, the blackout finisher, as Archer hoisted Scooter St. William up, yes. As Archer hoisted Scooter St. William up, Jaden Miller distracted the referee. Mischief Mikey, me, unable to execute a physical attack, created a diversion, which wasn't enough to distract the champion. Scooter St. William, using his veteran instinct, slipped out and pushed Archer toward the rope. With the referee still distracted, Scooter St. William hit Archer with a low blow. Oh yeah, a low blow. How about that? A low blow. He then connected with his painted executive decision. He then connected with his painted executive decision driver by laying Arch out. Jaden Miller, having secured the referee's attention, signaled Scooter St. William to make the cover. Scooter St. William, however, had other plans. He would achieve the end of his World Heavyweight title, and oh my God, yeah. Get this, get what my shadow Scooter St. William did. Scooter St. William, he retrieved the NWS World Heavyweight title belt, and with the referee's back turn, struck Archer in the head with it and RKO'd him. Scooter St. William then pinned the unconscious Lance Archer for the win, with the referee counting 1, 2, 3 as Jaden held Archer's legs down. Oh, Jaden did that. Winning via pinfall and still NWS World Heavyweight Champion Scott Kisageo, known as Scooter St. William, as the fans cheered. The fans approved of Scooter St. William's dirty antics. And so did the commentator. And once again, Joe Gowdy and Dan Lambert said Scooter St. William taking a page out of Mischief Mikey Miller's playbook. So since Scooter St. William was doing that, he was cheating and he was disrespecting me. And there was even more disrespect because I'm going to read what happened afterwards. After the match, Scooter St. William pulled me, Mr. Mikey Miller, in the ring and RKO'd me. And then Jaden Miller dropped me, Mikey, with the Minecraft Slam. Then Jay Lawson, Noah Higgins, and Billy Joe come down and drop me, Mikey, with the finishers. The show ends with Scooter St. William, Jaden Miller, Jay Lawson, Noah Higgins, and Billy Joe, 5-man powerbombing me, Mr. Mikey Miller, full table as the bands cheer. So once again, I was another punching bag. I am getting sick and tired of being a punching bag. So here's what I'm going to do, Michael Cole. I am once again suing Jay Lawson, Noah Higgins, it's my brother Jaden Miller and Vinny Joe for assault and battery. As a matter of fact, I, Mr. Mikey Miller, am once again filing a 500 feet restraining order against Jay Lawson, Noah Higgins, Jaden Miller, and Vinny Joe. They cannot come within 500 feet of me. And if they do, they will go to jail. Now, the reason I'm not filing a 500 feet restraining order against Scooter St. William, Scott Kisegeo, is because Scott Kisegeo is my adopted father. And he is my personal servant. Scott Kisegeo is also my shadow lap servant and lap warmer, which means Scott Kisegeo once again broke the shadow rules, which means he has to sit on my lap while wearing an embarrassing outfit. And there's a lot of chores I got Scooter St. William to do. He's got a lot of chores, so Scooter St. William will definitely be punched. But anyway, this was a great show. I don't know, but I did not appreciate what happened to me. That was an absolute slap in the face to NWS authority, and it will not be tolerated. So Scooter St. William, I know you're watching. At this reveal, you are going to be once again sitting on my lap while I hold you as tight as I can to make sure you don't escape for breaking the shadow rules. And I know you're going to become the promo, and I will definitely interfere, and I will wash your mouth out with soap. I will take you to the woodshed and give you a spanking, Scott Kisegeo, and then I will make you sit in my lap. Maybe I should make you sit in my lap while you're cutting your promo. Yeah, that's going to be a new thing I'm going to do. So, coming soon, Scott Kisegeo will be cutting a promo while sitting on my lap. Sorry, Scott, but that's the way it is. But anyway, Michael Cole, what will you rate this show? So what will you rate? Give me your rate. And next week, me, Joe Gowdy, and Dan Lambert are going to give you our NWS Revolution Impact review. Well, Mr. Mikey Miller, I would rate this NWS Revolution Impact 5 stars, 2 thumbs up, a solid 10 out of 10, and an 8 triple plus. It was a great show. And the best part, a lot of great wrestling matches, great commentary from Joe Gowdy and Dan Lambert. And the best part is when Scott Kisegeo RKO'd you in the middle of the ring, Mr. Mikey Miller. And when your brother Jaden Miller dropped you with the Minecraft Slam. And when Jay Lawson and Noah Higgins dropped their finishes on you, especially when Vinny Joe finally got his hands on you, Mr. Mikey Miller, and Vinny bombed you. But the best part is when Scott Kisegeo, Jaden Miller, Jay Lawson, Noah Higgins, Vinny Joe, they just took the Patriots, 5-man powerbombed you full table. Oh, Mike. See, Mikey, that, as I said earlier, that is called karma. And it's finally striking you, and it's hitting you very hard. Let that be a lesson to you, Mikey. But anyway, as Mikey said, next week, Joe Gowdy, Dan Lambert, and Mr. Mikey Miller are going to give you their NWS Revolution Impact review. This is Michael Cole signing off. Have a good day, have a good afternoon, good day, everybody. And this is Mr. Mikey Miller signing off. You all have a good day. And Scott Kisegeo, get ready to sit in my lap. As a matter of fact, I know you're having pizza tonight. So guess what? You're going to be eating your pizza dinner while sitting on my lap. And you're going to share it with me whether you like it or not. So Scott Kisegeo, I got a list of embarrassing clothes for you to wear. And you will once again be wearing a onesie. As a matter of fact, you're going to be singing, you're going to be writing a poem about me while I was sitting in my lap. And you're going to read the poem about me while I was sitting on my lap. And you're gonna serenade me too, Scott Casey Gale. Oh, am I gonna get my payback from you, Scott Casey Gale? This is Mischief Mikey. We're signing off, and I will, and like I said, I will be reviewing next week's Revolution Impact with Joe Gowdy and Dan Ebb. Have a good day, everybody. And Scott Casey Gale, you're mine.